Good morning there, John, from New Zealand, where you've been at the sales over recent times and spending a lot of time looking for some more Melbourne Cup winners, perhaps, or Golden Slipper winners, and some obviously lovely horses come out of this sale every year. Some really top horses, and it's an important part of the whole story of Australian New Zealand racing. So this morning we're going to talk about three particular horses that you purchased at this sale, and let those people that follow the team here understand why you bought them and what you think about their future. So, John, the sale itself, perhaps a little bit of background. How different is it to the Australian sales?
Well, I guess basically it's not different as in such as the sale goes, but you're looking, or we're specifically looking for different type of horses when we come over here. We bought some lovely three staying horses over here last year that are progressing through their early education really, really well. And we've come back particularly just to buy some staying horses to blossom with the ones that we bought at the Magic Millions, which are, obviously sprinters and maybe golden slipper horses or whatever. They're going to be much more precocious than what these horses are. So it's very important that we have a bit of a blend in the stable rather than just stayers or sprinters. And these horses are certainly going to complement that. And the horses that we've bought, obviously a Prazia, an Almanzor, and a So You Think, with pedigrees that endear themselves to that staying, and I particularly look for those horses. So yeah, that's the difference, I guess.
And I guess you looked at a lot of horses over that time. It's a big sale over many days, and it's having been with you at some of the sales, it's quite hard work. It's full on. It's not some sort of sit down drinking beer and having a good time type thing, is it?
Absolutely not. No, the first 5 days, I think I went through as many as I possibly could, and we came up with a short list that we of about a dozen or 15 horses that we had vetted, and we ended up with the three that we've got because a couple of them didn't vet out, and we had to put a line through those, and a couple of the others just made too much money. So we ended up with what we've got, which I think is a great selection. They range from the $60,000 through to the 250 or 240. But they're cracking horses. Like they're well grown for staying horses. They're well matured even at this stage. So that's a good head start. You would think they'd be racing as 3-year-olds, and hopefully maybe looking at derbies. But time will only tell us that.
Okay, well, let's skip through the three horses and give us some more detail and what the appeal was. Let's start off with lot 166, which was the brown colt by Boisier. It's out of a bit of a link to Melbourne town, out of Swanston Street, I think. So we won't be racing in Swanston Street, but yeah, it's a pretty good family too, John.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the full brother, you can see on the pedigree page there, has won 6 races, won 3 in succession, and I think he won only one here in New Zealand before he went to Hong Kong, and he's won all those other races in Hong Kong. So he's a very good horse. That's the full brother. Excuse me. And I think the mare, I'll just have a look at the book here because it's got to recoup my memory on it. But she's had four foals to race, and she's had 3 winners and a very good horse by Pazir already. So that really appealed to me. She hasn't thrown a stakes winner as yet, but she's a stakes winner herself, and you would think a mare of her quality would throw a stakes winner. So that's why we went for her. But there's all winners all the way back through the family. So it's that's what appeals on pedigree. And it's just type-wise, he's absolutely outstanding. He's an absolute cracker of a horse. So I don't think I could have bought a better Poisia for anywhere near that sort of money. So absolutely rapt to have him in the stable.
So he's from Hanui Farm, which is one of the very successful farms and who produce winners and certainly produce, as many of the Kiwi farms do, plenty of really top stayers.
Oh, absolutely. That's exactly what I said in the beginning. That we're over here looking for those sort of horses. We're not over here to buy horses that have been bred for the Australian conditions of speedsters. We're over here to try and buy the staying horses, and that's what we've done. And this horse fitted the bill really well. As as the next horse that we'll talk about, 392.
392 is from the famous Trelawney stud, and there's not many studs more famous than Trelawney, John, out of the mare Vine Vale. She's a flying spur mare and six-time winner in New Zealand. So again, um, the previous horse you bought for 150, but this one you certainly seem to beat the market.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a cracking type of Almanzor. He just oozes quality. To be quite honest, he's got a lot of quality about him. He's just a cracking horse. Out of a flying spur mare that it goes back to Hill of Grace, who was a multiple Group One
Yeah,
performer, and
absolutely.
this pedigree is really, really steeped into some really lovely horses. So to buy him for the price that we bought him for is actually unbelievable.
I think
And
the
if you
half sister to Purple Sector, I think too, which won four races in Australia. So there's already very close, nice winners in the family as well. Plenty of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's if you have a look at you go back through the dams and have a look at the second dam, who is the dam of Purple Spectre and the dam of this horse. She had 8 foals and 7 of them raced 6 winners. You go back to the next one. She had 11 foals, all raced 10 winners and Group 1 winners, Group 2 winners, all through the family. So, the family certainly is a winning family. There's no doubt about that. So to be able to pick him up for the price that we did, being an Almanzor, he's obviously going to take a little bit of time, but in the Melbourne Cup that we were just lucky enough to win, there was 4 Almanzors racing around in there. So, that to try and get back there or to win a derby, these are the sort of horses that you want, and especially out of a flying spur mare, a great broodmare sire.
John, when I look at this pedigree, I don't pretend to be an expert, but you have to be incredibly impressed with the sort of horse you wanted to buy here, which was Stayers, but also the depth and the many winners in this family. It's pretty amazing that you picked this horse up for 60,000.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just one of those things that we're lucky enough to do. It was like picking up Knight's Choice, an extreme choice horse for 85. Sometimes it comes along and opens up for you, and this horse is one of those horses that just fell through the cracks a little bit with everyone else. But I could not be happier to have him in the stable. He's a lovely quality horse.
Well, I'd encourage anybody who's thinking about one and wants to go into the market around that money. I don't think you could do better. And if you want to check it out, just check out that pedigree. And I don't think you have to know a lot about pedigrees to know there's a lot of value and a lot of winners in that pedigree. So you've certainly stolen one there. There's no doubt about it, John.
Yeah,
Lot
absolutely.
500. Lot 500 was the third and final horse, 240,000 from Cambria Park, and a colt by the mighty So You Think out of Bucalati or Buccellati, I think. And she's as a Beale mare. So again, you've picked this for 240,000 New Zealand dollars, but wow, you've certainly done your homework to be able to buy a horse of this pedigree.
Yeah, absolutely. The dam's a half sister to Turner Bayou, and he won over 3,200 metres, winning the Queensland Cup. So, you know, you've got a staying horse that was very good, very, very close up in the family there, and you know, again, that's right. Buys a Beale, mother won over 1,800 metres in Australia. But she obviously wasn't probably a superstar, but a lot of these good mares aren't superstars. They're just good mares, and being by So You Think, I can guarantee you won't find a better So You Think in any of the sales that I've been to for the last 3 or 4 years. He's absolutely outstanding type. He walks like a panther, and look, everyone was on him. All the good judges were on him. Proven Bloodstock was on him. Mel Costa Bloodstock with thing, and we had to go to the price we did for him to secure him. But he was one that I really, really wanted, so we leaned into him a little bit and had to pay the price. But I can assure you, he's a cracking colt.
And how would you describe, just moving on to the general, how would you describe the feeling of the sale there in New Zealand this year? Do you think the buying market was on top, or the selling market was on top, or how did you feel the market, looking back on it, was?
Look, it was probably a little bit slower, but that's because a lot of people don't want to buy the staying horses from here now. That the market's moved away from New Zealand in lots of ways as far as staying ranks go, and they're going to Europe to buy these ready-made horses where they're paying $2 and $3 million for them. And we lined up against a lot of those horses in the Melbourne Cup this year. And yes, it's a quick fix to get an entry into the Melbourne Cup. But really, if you had a Melbourne Cup horse and you thought it could win the Melbourne Cup, I don't know whether you'd be selling it. And I think some of these sales of these overseas horses are actually retarding New Zealand because of that fact that everyone wants a very quick return. But when you have a look at the staying ranks with Chris Waller's horses up in Queensland, and I'm not picking on Chris here, I'm just making an example, and even Annabelle Neesham the same. On a Saturday up there, you're quite every Saturday you'll see in those open handicaps horses that they've purchased with the view of winning the Melbourne Cup over in England that are just running around on a Saturday in Brisbane. So I don't think that's the way to go. I think the way to go is to come here and still find a horse and make it. And I think I'm pretty sure that I'm on the money in saying that, because the old man Zor and the reliable man that we bought here last year that have both got terrific pedigrees are really showing us a lot at home. The old man Zor's already won a jump out at, albeit only over 400 metres, which you wouldn't expect him to do. But that's what we have to do to make them. And we look forward to him later in the season as a late 2-year-old and a ripping 3-year-old season. So we won't knock him around, nor any of these horses. These will take a little bit of time. But what I would say, these are very much mature horses or staying horses. They're not like, you're not going to go and have to put them in the paddock for 6 months and let them grow. They're really well matured horses. So, I couldn't be happier to have them. They're fantastic horses, fantastic.
Well, it's very exciting, John. I mean, you haven't spent $500,000 there, but you've bought 450, I think was the total. I quickly did my sums if I can still get my maths right. And that's a pretty fantastic lineup of horses, and satisfying, if you like, all parts of even the market of your business, because you've got 150, you've got a 60, and you've got a 240 in New Zealand dollars. And the way you've described how and why you bought them, I think, is pretty compelling. And I suppose it's fair to say that anyone who's serious about getting involved, speak to you or Sheila, and if they've got any other clarifications that they want, that they need to know, you're always available, which is a big thing about Esprit Racing, that the people who are doing the work talk to the owners.
Oh, absolutely. It's if anyone wants to know anything or get any information, we're on the phone and happy to talk at any time. But to have the horses of the caliber that we've bought this year, I don't think that I've been able to buy horses in that caliber now for probably 20 years, or the numbers of the caliber of horses. We might have been able to buy one or two, but to be able to buy 8 horses of the caliber that we've bought this year is just outstanding for our stable. And we're really looking forward to the future with these horses, albeit with the as I said, the 3-year-old crop at home at the moment, and the 2-year-olds. We've got some lovely horses coming through. So it's exciting times for Simon's Laxon, and hopefully we'll come out winners.
Well, we look forward to that. We look forward to the current. We also look forward to these horses, a year or two down the track, perhaps winning Melbourne Cups, Brisbane Cups, and all sorts of things, because they've certainly got the pedigrees. You've bought them at the right price, and you've proved proven many times between you and Sheila just what you can do with these horses out of the limited numbers that you do purchase. You do a mighty job, and there's no doubt there'll be a couple of champs in that lot. So I'm hoping that we can all have the opportunity to either be in them or watch them win for the stable. Thanks for your time this morning, John, and we'll look forward to seeing you real soon back in the winner's circle.
Good on you, guys.
Thanks a lot.